What's happening? Hey, so this is Chad again, and I want to talk to you right now about the Tesla Autopilot. Put together a couple little clips of me actually driving on the highway. In the previous video, I had mentioned how it's getting to where many times that I'm driving on the highway, I start to do that eyes heavy and I'm drifting in the lane, mostly staying in the lane, but I am drifting back and forth some. So I wanted to give a better example of why I think the Tesla Autopilot system will actually be very great for me. Um, First things, we're going to take a look at some of the features. So Auto Park, you can go to their website, check this out. Not really something that I'm going to be using personally. I just don't go many places that I need to park. A couple times in the year, I might need it. Navigate on autopilot, that is going to be something I would like to use on the highways, and what they call automatic lane change. Those are the two things that interest me the most in the system. And then the future eventuality of an actual full self-driving vehicle. So I've got these clips. We're going to jump into taking a look at them, and you get to see how when I'm driving on the highways, I don't stay straight. A lot of what I've heard is uh, the autopilot system will stay practically perfectly centered in the lane or side to side within it, depending on if there's like large semi vehicles on one side of you. They'll move over a little bit, give them a little more space on the highway. But from what I understand, majority of where I'm driving at, it's mostly open. There's trucks and cars, but it's not bumper to bumper traffic. So most likely it's just going to keep straight down the center in the lanes for me and be able to move over past slower cars, get back, and just continue on staying right in the lanes. I am curious to see how it is going to perform in windy conditions. I'd like to hear from somebody that has a Model X. I figure that's going to be the closest in the actual size to the CyberTruck, and I want to know how does it perform on when you have a strong crosswind. You see, on one of the days that I was driving, it was very windy, and you can see me drifting a lot. And this was shot with a GoPro, and I was actually, trying to pay more attention and stay in my lane on these two trips. It just doesn't always work out that way for me. So let's jump into watching this footage and see what you think. Just want to give a great example of why I'm going to get full self-driving for the eventuality that it will just drive itself, and until it gets there, for the highway driving capabilities of it. Let's go. Alright, so this is leaving out this getting on the highway, going to Lawton. This was actually on a Sunday morning, just before noon, I believe, this day, passing Hedrick, and that was our big bridge. So as you can see right there, really bad. I'm just going in between the lines very badly. This is really the main thing I want my car to get over here, do that whole move right there, get into the passing lane, overtake the slower vehicles, jump back over to the right hand lane, and then actually just stay centered and quit walking all over the place. Now, my truck, I am up to 363,000 miles on this thing, so it is definitely showing its age. The steering is kind of loose now. It does, like I can feel it walking around on me. And until I took this video, I really didn't think it was that bad. But as I watched this in a faster speed, you can see how bad it has actually gotten over the past few years. So here we are. Now we're already at Lawton. Man, I wish it was this fast. Going to a movie at the IMAX theater. Now we are hopping onto the, what is that called? The Rogers Lane bypass, I believe. So it's just a little bypass road to skip the majority of the traffic lights going through Lawton. And now we are back on the actual highway. So This is where I notice it the most, when I'm trying to stay in one lane and my mind, it just races all the time. There was a cop, something happened that day. There was a lot of police cars on the road. Um, but as I drive, I just start to think about too many different things, and you can see just perfectly good. I'm bouncing from solid line to the stripe line and just back and forth the whole time I'm driving almost. And this wasn't even the windy day. Um, One thing, check out those clouds. This day turned out really awesome with the overcast, the way this hyperlapse captured these rolling clouds. It's one of the better things here in southwest Oklahoma. We have some wonderful looking weather. If you like to look up at clouds, skies, you can see the sun starting to go down in the background. This turned out to be a very, very nice day, especially for the middle of December. So here's another big grain bin there on the left hand side. And this is pulling into Altus. So now we're at our first stoplight, and I was zipping home trying to go pick up my dog from his groomer. Now, as I was saying, here in town you don't notice it as much that I'm weaving back and forth inside the lanes, but it does happen. And this is leaving Monday morning, actually the next day from the first video. Next morning I had to drive back to Lawton again to go to my doctor's office. So this was about 8:30 I think in the morning. It was really windy this day, so this is the day I would like to know anybody that has a Model X. Do you notice that autopilot is actually staying centered in the lane, or does it get blown around and have to make constant adjustments when you're driving with a strong crosswind? That's one of the things I'm really curious to find out about before I take possession of the CyberTruck, whenever they start getting those built and delivered. In this area we have constant, almost high winds. It is more often a windy day than a calm day. So getting an idea of how it is going to react to the wind, I would like to know beforehand. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to be driving tons in this Cybertruck when it comes out, so I'll get it figured out very quickly, but I would like to know if anybody has any opinion or experience with that themselves. Please drop me a comment. Let me know, how does it perform in windy conditions. Also, this is going very fast, so you can't see all the time, but we have a lot of roads that the lines are not really, really clear. So I don't know if that is, does the cameras use the lines that are painted on the road to pick it up? And now we are heading back to Altus after I ran my couple little morning errands. And if you watch closely, a few times you will see there's a few spots on the highway that the lines have just gotten very, very faded. And that's the only thing that kind of concerns me right now, since Tesla's system is based on cameras. Do they actually have to see the lanes marked on the road, or do they use GPS and like map data to know where the lines are supposed to be, and they just stay in the correct position based off of that? Or do they have to actually see good, well-marked lines in order to stay in their lane? So I have a couple of questions about this. Obviously I'm going to be paying a lot of attention when I first get it before I fully trust it, but I am very, very excited to get this actually in my hands and tested out here in southwest Oklahoma. I want to get my hands on it, get as many people as I can, give them rides, show them how it works. I think it's going to be really, really awesome when this all comes together. So hey, thanks again for watching this, and here we are pulling back into Altus. Okay, so that was pretty fun. Now here's another thing I want to mention. As of right now, this is December 23rd of 2019. I am going to try and go to this event here, Fully Charged Live North America. It is going to be down in Austin, Texas, and it's going to be February 1st and 2nd. I'm pretty sure I can at least make it to that Sunday the 2nd, but it's the slowest time in my work, so I should be able to take off that Saturday and be down there for the whole 2 days. I really want to meet some of the speakers and presenters that they are going to have at this show. So if anybody's going down there, leave a message. Let's hook up. I want to meet as many people as I can and learn. I just want to learn as much as I possibly can. I want to bring all that information back here to Southwest Oklahoma, where there is just such a small amount of EV, and hardly anybody even talks about autonomous vehicles, let alone electric vehicles. So I want to get ahead of the curve and bring as much information from out in the world, bring it home, and share it with everybody that I can around here. Okay, and with that, I'm going to take off, and I appreciate anybody that took the time to watch this hopefully quick little video. Thank you, and we'll talk again later.